How about this great story? It happened in Noblesville, Indiana. It's just north of Indianapolis. So there are two strangers, and it caught the attention of another customer, Amanda Kraft. She was so touched by the heartfelt moment they shared, she decided to then post this picture on Facebook. This an elderly Caucasian woman who appeared to be lonely approached a young African-American male sitting alone and asked if she could sit with him. They fell right into a seamless conversation, laughter, as you can see right there, having a meal together. 45 minutes later, they exchanged numbers. Again, I talk about the climate that we're in currently here in 2018, so divisive, party lines, race lines, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, everything. Everyone's looking for a reason to be on opposite sides. And you got a story like this. Why can't everybody be more like them?
Yeah, it's sad that this is even a story because we're judging them off of how they both look. We think, oh, an older white lady and a younger black guy. Like, we're 100% judging them off of what they look like. And we're saying they shouldn't be sitting together, but focusing on the positives of everything. Two strangers just coming together to have a conversation. We definitely need more of that.
Yeah, I'd say young, old, black, white, we all need to come together. And I think that's like the point of this. But to me, I also was surprised that this was a story because as someone who's lived in big cities, who's taken public transportation all the time, I'm always talking to people that are different than me. I see people that are coming from different backgrounds, rich, poor, everything. Everyone's together and talking all the time. But I mean, I guess in a lot of places that isn't the case. So that's why this is surprising. But I don't know. I talk to people on the street. I hope for a conversation with someone new.
In the big cities I've been, that's like passe. Like, why are you talking to me? Like,
really?
That's like a weird thing.
And I spent 5 years in New York, so it was just how life was there, and that's one of the things I loved about it.
I never met that New York.
I guess that's the point. I think that's maybe the problem is the desire not to communicate with other people. I think you guys aren't being honest. If you were sitting in that room and you saw that elderly white woman sit down with that young black man and watch that moment yourselves, I could tap the person you're with to be like, that's a really cool moment. Because that doesn't happen in today's society. We do not see things like this. People do fear the unknown, and in the unknown bursts racism, bursts stereotypes and stuff like that. So I think if I was sitting there in that moment, I'd be like, well, that's really cool to see because you don't see it every day, unfortunately, in the world we live in.
But I'm saying it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, yes. It shouldn't be, but I think these are wins that we need to celebrate. And we need to say, hey, maybe take it upon ourselves to be more like Carly today. Maybe let's get outside of that shell of things that we're used to doing and go in that route and see what it does. Maybe bridging that gap. I do think it's a beautiful story.
In the North, people look at you crazy. They're like, why are you talking to me?
Felicia,
like,
they're checking you out. That's why they're looking at you crazy. They want you to come up to you and talk to you. That's what they're looking for.
Stranger danger.
According to Knot.com, the average length of an engagement is 14.5 months, everybody. That's more than a year. But is it okay to be engaged much longer than that? It seems pretty long. How long is too long to be engaged? Or is there a time limit?
Y'all tell me. You guys have both been engaged. Well, you're engaged now. You were engaged.
About a year. We'll be married in about a year.
Yeah, mine was a year. It was June. We got engaged in June and got married in June. So I think for me, it's weird when people get engaged for like 2 years and more. Like when they're like, oh, the wedding's, so it's 2018 now. Oh, the wedding's in 2020. Then why are we engaged? Like, I think it's ridiculous. I think that it's supposed to be about marriage. If you're deciding to get married, technically, you could go down to the courthouse next month or next week and pick up that marriage license. Like, people dragging this out for longer and longer because maybe they want to have a big extravagant wedding or maybe they want to get through some things before they get engaged, then I guess I feel like, what's the point of getting engaged?
What about not setting a date at all, though?
Yeah,
like, what if I'm like, I found my person, I'm with him, we're going to get engaged to make like our parents happy or something like that, and we just didn't set a date. What about that?
I think it's weird, and this is, I think that's odd because why get engaged? But what I noticed when I got engaged, people wait. There's no wait. Like when I told people we're engaged, and this was like days after being engaged, and it was older people, older than me, they said, okay, that's great. When's the wedding date? And we said, we just got engaged. And they go, okay, well, that means nothing yet.
It doesn't.
Meaning until you set that date, until you've made that true commitment.
Nothing. It means you're going to spend the rest of your lives together.
But the argument, I guess maybe the old school argument is, okay, that's sweet. You put a ring on her finger. You told her that you want to spend the rest of your life with her, but you haven't set a date yet. So you've only halfway put your toes in the water. You haven't fully jumped in yet. I thought that was interesting. It depends on how you look at marriage.
The difference is commitment.
Yes, I guess, yes. Like when someone gets engaged, of course your natural next question is like, well, when's the wedding? I think it shows you care and you're planning and you're like, they're telling you you're hoping to be invited to the wedding. But I mean, come on, don't you not? Isn't it like you choose the date based on the date you can get the venue? Don't you have to scout the venues first?
That's part of it.
Yeah, but you better make it happen. I think engagement is talking the talk. setting that wedding date and going through with it, that's walking the walk.
Commitment.
One of the
Yeah.
things in this article I found interesting was that one of the arguments for getting married sooner, having a shorter engagement, is that you don't want people to get bored with your engagement. You want to keep the excitement. And I was like, to me, that was so interesting and so surprising, because I feel like, yes, it is such an exciting time for people, but also that's such a small part of your relationship. So who really cares how long or how short it is? The fact is that you're announcing to everyone and to each other that you're going to spend your lives together.
Yeah, it's better late
that's
than
really
never.
okay. I
But
agree.
well, first of all, I don't like that outlook, because then it's like it should be about the couple. Like, why
And
are
not
we-
about the
who do we-
wedding.
Who do we care about? Like, who's excited about our engagement or not?
Yeah.
Like, it's about us
Yeah.
deciding to make a commitment. But I just think I've heard people be engaged for 3, 4, 5 years. I just think it's ridiculous. The whole point of getting engaged is that you're making a commitment to be with that person, and you're not following through on the commitment if you're waiting that long.
If you're in a relationship with somebody, do you constantly have to be communicating, especially via text? Well, according to experts, here are 4 signs you're texting way too much. Let's take a look at this list. Other people are noticing how much you're doing it. Your partner, they're slow to respond. 3, they don't seem too excited when they do respond. And 4, they don't even have time to respond. This is a list. I think all 4 of those things are definitely residuals from somebody who communicates too much. But I would say to anybody, because I see a lot of people do it, I'm not one of them. My fiance can be at times, but it takes the fun out of it. If you're always around each other, always hovering over each other, where's the spice? Where's the spontaneity? You kind of lose its luster. So you got to let that person have freedom to go be themselves, because when you come back together, it's magical, it's electric.
That's how I feel too. Oh, magical and electric. I like that description, Jordan. But I feel that way too. I like to save some stuff for when I get home. Sometimes, like, we have exciting days here at the gym. We talk to exciting guests, and I want to like tell my boyfriend, oh, I talked to this person or this happened. But I'll start sending a text and I'll be like, I'm going to hold off on this because I want to actually tell him in person. And like you said, save it for when you get home.
Yeah,
so
unplug a
I'm
little
not a
bit.
big fan of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we do it a lot, but I mean, I just do it whenever I need to say something. If he can respond, he can respond. I don't think I put that much thought into it. You know what I mean?
Do you
If he can respond, then he's not.
Do you
that
do you
busy.
maybe approach the day like, because Teddy has his own enterprise, he has his own work, you have your own career here. Do you ever say, hey, I'm walking out the door, let's go do our thing? Now, texting, hey, pick up milk, this or that is one thing, but are you texting conversationally throughout the day, or do you just say, hey, let him have his day, I'm gonna have mine, and when we come home, we'll celebrate each other and enjoy each other then?
It all depends. If we're super busy, then we're super busy. But it just all depends. Like, I have a good morning. Well, I have a lot of texts.
Oh,
Whoa,
she
she
got
got a lot of
I
texts
do
on her
have a
phone.
lot of texts. It's from different people, but I have a good morning text from him, and like I like stuff like
That's
that.
sweet. I like to be like, I'm thinking of you if it's a longer day, but nothing.
But sometimes you get too busy for it.
Felicia's
Yeah.
here to let you know she's cool or not. She got a lot of texts.
I know, clearly. I wish I had that many text messages.